everybody. This is another episode of UFO Garage.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Joe, and this is where we talk about UFOs, aliens, and all things weird.
All things weird!
Here we are again, man. What's going on? How are you today?
Episode 2, I'm doing swell, man.
Is it episode 2?
Season 3, episode
Season 3, episode 2. Makes perfect sense to me.
For all of you listening on the podcast side of things, we had a season 2 with one episode.
That's right.
Last year.
Make sure you go check it out.
It's pretty sick, dude. One episode.
That was actually a pretty good episode. I went back and listened to it, and it was a lot more thoughtful than I had remembered.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It's always surprising when you go back and listen, because I always think like, oh, I didn't really get anywhere. I had fun, but I don't remember like getting to the bottom of things. But every time I go back, I'm like, okay, geez, we figured some stuff out. That's cool.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes doing these shows, it's like a college party. You just never remember what you did the last time.
Yeah.
But you wanted to get into some footage that we had shared earlier on in the podcast.
Yes.
It's a video that you had taken. The jury's still out.
Jury's still out.
As you said.
Let
right?
the people decide.
It's kind of you had mentioned, maybe jellyfish-ish kind of vibes to
I
the
think
video.
it could be a jellyfish or a mylar balloon.
Because this is the thing that popped up before the jellyfish thing became like a big deal.
Yeah, this was 5 years ago.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to full screen.
Let's see.
I'm going to play the video. Joe, you haven't seen this one in a while, but
It's been a while.
this was right over my house. Press play. Of course, I got my finger right in front of it, but
Right.
very shiny. It's got like a circular shape at the bottom,
Yeah.
and then a shape at the top. Very blurry. It's spinning. It's high up there. What would you say?
This looks like a job
I would think
for the CIA.
You gonna call them boys in, Tom?
We should probably call,
The CIA is so different.
The Clown Intelligence Agency.
Oh,
The Clown Intelligence
they
Agency
stand
could
still?
probably
That's
tell
my
us whether or not this is an actual balloon or if it's a jellyfish. Hello?
it's like so many horns going on. So many clouds.
So the thing that's funny about this, okay, so I don't think it looks like the jellyfish thing.
I don't think so
I don't
either.
think it looks
now
like
that
the
I'm looking.
jellyfish. It has been a while since we've seen this video. It's interesting. Okay, so say it were a balloon, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't like, it doesn't
Doesn't look that big.
look that big.
Look at there's birds that fly by.
Uh-huh. So my question is like, would it like it wasn't moving. It was kind of like doing this thing up there, but like
It's floating and
it
spinning.
wasn't like flying
trucking.
away.
Yeah.
It wasn't like moving away or anything. It just kind of sat there.
Yeah. Had it shot up in the sky, then we'd know. But every video that we've seen of this type of, similar shiny object, can't really make out the shape of the craft.
Right.
They're just stationary too. They're just kind of like floating there.
They're just
I
sitting
mean, have
there.
you seen video of them like floating and then like shooting off?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Either.
So I don't know, man.
I think we should try to replicate this and see if we can call something in.
So like, what would it? I mean, I'm trying to even look at it and say, what numbers would those be if that was
A 7 and a 0.
So,
But
somebody who's 70 years old, are they still spending money on balloons?
Dude, great point. Or if that were an 8 and a 7, who's turning 78 or 87?
Yeah, like I don't know.
There's definitely two number. If this was a number balloon, there's two of them, right?
It could even be a 4, a 40.
A 4 and a 0.
Yeah, but like it's still like what an awkward, like the 4s on top and the 0s on the bottom.
Yeah, because you would think the bottom part would have more area, which would be filled with more helium, which would rise to the top. But it's the long one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
And the 0, if it was a 0, is at the bottom.
I wonder if it has something to do with like, okay, so like when you put a balloon in your car,
Yeah.
and it's like one balloon and it's just floating there,
Yeah.
and you drive forward, You know how the balloon never goes backwards?
Right.
You would think it would go backwards, but it doesn't. It moves forward with the car because all the air molecules take up the space in the back when you drive forward. So it pushes the balloon to your front seat. You know, I wonder if it's the same thing. Like there's too many air molecules above it for it to like move any further, but it wouldn't explain why it wouldn't move like side to side with the wind blowing.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's spinning. It's doing something, dude.
It's doing something.
It's definitely very shiny.
But you
Why are
sat
they
there and you
staying still?
watched
That's
it
my
for a
question.
while.
It was for a while, yeah. It was longer than the video was.
And you said that there were some other people in the parking lot.
They were also looking at it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? I mean, it goes in and out of focus. It's like every UFO video you see. It's like,
right?
it's only in focus for a split second, and the couple of frames that are in focus, you're like, I mean, the internet would destroy this.
Oh yeah.
But you have a good point. You have a good point. Who's buying? That looks like a 7 and a 0. Who's buying balloons for a 7-year-old and also getting the 0? And who's buying balloons for a 70-year-old?
Yeah.
That don't make no
guess
sense.
That's kind of a milestone, I guess. But yeah, if you're a 7-year-old, nobody's gonna buy the 0 and the 7. You know.
Or it's an LD. I don't know.
be.
Lactation, dude.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Maybe the guy's just super into boobs and milk, breast milk.
That's quite the party he had. But yeah, dude. It looks silver.
Yeah.
Yeah, silver balloons, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird. Because okay, so my daughter just had a birthday. I know you're not supposed to do this, but we let the balloons go. Right. It's the only time we've ever done it. She's old enough. She wanted to do it. We did it. She's fine. Come on. So we let them go. And you know what they did? They didn't do that.
What'd they do?
They flew away.
In the wind.
In the wind.
They didn't just sit there above the...
No.
Okay. What kind of balloons were they?
They were Mylar balloons.
Oh, snap.
Yep.
The shiny ones.
Yep, the shiny ones. I had a
Okay.
bluey one, and then I had one that looked like a unicorn. Yeah, so they
Dude.
don't just sit there. They fly away.
They just go.
Yeah. So
I mean, devil's advocate, it's like, okay, is the wind blowing a bunch or whatever? It was a pretty windy day, windy weekend. But that was...
it's been a windy, 2 months here, dude.
Yeah.
Every day has been so windy.
It's been windy out of my butt, dude.
In your butt?
Well,
Well.
it usually is.
But, yeah, so, I don't know. It's still, a weird video. A lot of people are going to be like, yeah, dude, those are totally balloons. But,
Are they?
They just don't look like... they don't act like balloons act in the wind.
They don't, dude.
They just sit there and, kind of rotate a little bit.
Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Kind of cool. I like it.
All right. I think, okay, should we try to get another video? Should we try to should we just jump right in? Do it like a psionic.
Try to go psionic with it and see
Yeah.
if we can do it.
I want to replicate it, dude.
Let's go try it real quick.
So I found this frequency generator.
Hey, real quick, whatever that poster is.
Oh, dude, that is
No, the one below it.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's got everything we need.
I love this website.
It's got boobs, it's got wieners, it's got butts, it's got frequencies.
We got Dwayne Johnson as a caterpillar. This is amazing.
What is it?
We could play this tone. I don't know what tone we should do, but Eric said we should use 432.
Okay, we'll try it.
So the question
Have you
is,
heard any recommendations from any other?
I've seen a couple things on Twitter, but all those are sub-audible ranges. And,
Right,
we don't have
okay.
a big speaker to play it on that would do anything, I don't think. So
So what do we got?
Well, so we got JV this one, or we can go big boy.
Well, I don't want to do that. Let's do big boy.
That one.
Yeah. We're going to have aliens. We're going to have dogs. We're going to have all kinds of shit in your neighborhood after that. Let's do it.
So many possums. All right, let's do it.
Stay still. Not as good as I thought it was going to be.
It's not. It never is. Okay.
Whew. Your neighbors are going to love that.
So loud, dude.
Although this isn't a bad gig, I don't know if I could listen to this for hours at a time.
I don't think so either. All right, we're supposed to just chill, right?
Okay.
Do we be quiet or can we talk?
I don't know. I think we're just chilling.
All right, let's try to sunbathe for a little bit. Let's
Okay.
catch a tan, dog.
But if our
Wait,
eyes
should we
are...
pop our tops off? Okay. So what Stevie Gree does is you imagine yourself like 10 feet above your head.
Okay.
Imagine what you look like where you're at, and then you go like 50 feet above.
Okay.
Imagine where you're at, your neighborhood, and then you go, 500 feet above, and then part of your town or your city, and you just keep going and going and going and going and going until you're in spas.
Okay. So is psionicking the same thing as C3ing or C5ing?
I don't know. I think it's a mix, dude. We're just making it up.
We're just making up our own thing?
We got this tone blasting,
Dude.
and we're just making up some shit. See what happens.
Because, like, what if Skywatchers, like, what if their thing is like, well, we usually bring Wendy's with us as an offering.
Are you saying you want to go get Wendy's?
No.
And we look freaking cool. This is so good, dude. The ghost pepper ranch. Have you tried it?
Uh-uh.
Bro, that's really good. You listen to music while psionicking?
I don't know. Oh, I do see it up there.
No.
So how long do we sit here?
Why'd you lean in so far?
Taking directions.
Yeah, I think it's been long enough. Let's call it.
Let's call it.
Okay, so we're back. That took a while. That took a while.
It took a long time, a lot of concentration.
What do you think? Did anything happen?
I don't think we gave it enough time. It was too distracting.
Well, it was a couple hours,
It was really hot out there.
It was hot. It was pretty sticky. It's kind of sticky out here. It's summertime.
I think if we were to do it like
With professionals,
like a profesh, come out and kind of show us the ropes. It was hard to get into that vibe of like meditation and like.
yeah, it's too funny.
There's just so much opportunity for jokes.
Meditation is so funny.
It's like
the funniest stuff happens when it's quiet.
The funniest shit happens when it's not supposed to be
I
funny.
know.
When it's like super serious, that's when I laugh the most.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we saw a lot of birds, but that was
That one dove almost. I was just waiting.
dude.
He's probably still out there,
It was
dude.
pretty close. It was pretty close. But yeah, who knows, man? I don't know. Obviously, we can't psionic, but some people can.
Yeah.
Some people can.
Some people can.
Supposedly, some people can. It's funny. It's kind of like a representation of like everything as a whole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you want so bad, you go and you look and you try and like nothing happens, and like even though you want to see it, and then like it seems like people who are like, well, I didn't want to have anything to do with this, it just like shows up all the time, right?
Yeah.
So like it's weird because it's.
I'm sorry, I can't take you serious without sunglasses. just look so badass.
Sorry, dude. They look cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look like you run fast.
I run fast.
But
I run fast.
But like
I'm gonna put these on.
But
so I can see.
like back to the whole thing about like the meditation thing, and if this is true, if everybody can get their brain into a specific mindset and meditative state in order to communicate with aliens, it would make sense because that's not an easy thing to do. Right. Meditation itself is not easy. Have you ever? I mean, you've tried. I've tried. I can't do it, dude.
It's difficult.
I can do it right before I go to sleep, and then I just fall asleep. But yeah, like communication with aliens. When you look at it on the surface level, you're like, oh, you just play this tone, this specific frequency, and you just chill. I mean, like that's the joke, right? Like it should be super. It sounds super easy. But like, we actually try it. It's not that easy.
It's not that easy.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go meditate real quick. I don't think it's that easy.
Well, people on that team though, they've had people on. They have people on the team that have had interactions.
Yeah.
So
we haven't necessarily had like a full blown experience.
Right.
We've seen some weird stuff.
Seen some weird stuff, and kind of had some weird things happen, but nothing that we can be like, yo, I'm going to talk at the next conference coming up. Right?
Yeah.
You know, nothing like that. But you've had some like weird experiences for sure and seen some strange things, but maybe that's just not enough. And dude, maybe we're the lucky ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which would you rather? Would you rather communicate, like open that window, open that door, communicating with some ultra dimensional being, and now they just have like a passcode to your consciousness at all times, and they can just show up?
It would be interesting, right? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like eventually we're all going to get to the point to where like we have to interact if it happens. You know, it's kind of like how you like some programs that you have on your computer won't work on those older programs.
Yeah,
or on your older computer. You know what I'm saying? You have to update the computer in order for those programs to even work.
Yeah.
And like maybe we're just like running
planned obsolescence.
Yeah. Like maybe we're just running old computers or something, or we haven't gotten the latest download.
I'm 100% running Windows 92.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of people are like just they're the latest software.
Yeah. And so like it's not working.
And maybe some people just genetically, okay, this might get crazy, but like maybe there's like one specific gene that exists only in people that were from a specific amount of Neanderthal versus alien, like
right.
Who knows that mix, but like the hardware, I'm talking about the difference between software and hardware. Like maybe some people have just an easier time communicating with aliens because they have also the hard drive or the hardware specifications and the software specifications.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And we know that all throughout history, I mean, people have written about this all throughout history. Like there's always people since the beginning of mankind, dude, that have like had contact with something. Right. Mm-hmm. And so we know it's not like a new thing. Like we're just calling it psionic. That's a new term, but like this, it's not a new thing. This is just something that, we're just giving it a new fun name, right?
Psionic the Hedgehog.
Psionic the Hedgehog. But, we had that frequency going. We don't know, like, are they just picking up the frequency or can they hear the frequency?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that they would need to hear it to show up. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me that they would need to hear the frequency. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people have been doing it without frequency since the beginning of mankind,
Maybe they have though. Think of Stonehenge. Think of like the Göbekli Tepe. Think of the pyramids. I mean, all of those acoustic resonance. There has something to do with all those ancient monoliths that look like they're temples, right? But if you go in there in a specific spot and you play a sound or you talk or sing, it's almost like an echo chamber, an auditorium or something. So there's something significant with sound that goes back way farther than I think we realize.
Could definitely enhance the situation at hand, but they had to have had the encounter before they built the pyramids. Right. Otherwise, what are they building?
Yeah,
for?
like how did they know?
Yeah, how would you even know that, Stone Temple Pilots, you know what I'm saying? When they built Stone Temple Pilots out there in England.
What, the band?
Yeah, as you said, right? Stone Temple Pilots and the pyramids.
Yeah, the Stonehenge.
Stonehenge. The Stone Temple Pilots?
Yeah, the band Stone Temple Pilots.
When they toured over in Europe, dude.
Do I not know that that's like also another thing? I'm only thinking of the band Stone Temple Pilots.
No, it's definitely a band, but yeah, like I mean, they would have. They're not like, hey, you want to build this and see what happens? Like, it would make more sense. You want to drag all these heavy ass stones over here and see what happens?
I got an idea.
No, I don't want to have anything to do with that.
It's like somebody wakes up with a voice in their head, like, hey, wake up. Huh? Hey, go pick up some heavy ass stones and bring them to this field. What?
It's 2 a.m.
It's so early. I got work tomorrow. No, do it though.
This is your work. Dude. Yeah, so there's got to be, yes, I think maybe it amplifies it. Maybe it's maybe it is kind of like a beacon or whatever. But
bacon.
What are they even doing?
What are they even doing?
What are they doing?
A new hand has touched the beacon. Have you played Skyrim? No, you haven't played Skyrim.
No.
That's a Skyrim inside joke for all you folks out there.
And then
beacon.
I also like kind of in with this discussion, like the interdimensional thing. I've got questions about this, and I'm sure somebody smart out there could probably answer it. But like, I was thinking about dimensions the other day, and like how you can just shift dimensions. And then I started thinking about the universe, and like, okay, so if just for the sake of argument, right? If we're talking about the universe, I know that there's multiple theories on like what's going on with the universe. Is it contracting or expanding, or it's doing all kinds of weird things. Everybody's got a different answer for it. But we'll say for this specific topic, if the universe is like ever expanding, right? And you could shift through dimensions
By changing your frequency?
Well, you can talk about the frequency, but I don't really think it has anything to do with where I'm going with this.
Okay.
Are these dimensions set within the universe itself, or are these dimensions outside of the universe? Because I was thinking, like, you're right. If it is ever expanding the universe, you could never actually fly to the end of it. No matter what you're doing, you can never, even if you move at the speed of light, like it would never happen. It would almost be easier to shift through a dimension. You'd probably figure that out before you figured out how to get to the edge of the universe.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it would just be ridiculous. But if that's the case, then are these universes set, or are these dimensions set inside of this infinite universe, ever expanding universe, or do these dimensions take you to somewhere else?
Ooh.
And if they take you to somewhere else, where are they taking you? You could do the multiverse thing, but I don't think if you're going to another dimension, like, you would necessarily go to a different universe. Why would you go to another universe? Because wouldn't that universe have its own dimensional laws to it?
I would think that each universe has its own laws of like space and time, and like talking about like how big is it? How fast can you travel? Its own laws of physics. Like in our universe, you can't travel past the speed of light, apparently. Right. But what if in a different universe you can? So maybe people or entities that are able to travel between dimensions are not actually traveling within our universe. They're tuning to a different frequency, to a different universe. That's a different, totally different layer, that those laws allow them to travel faster than the speed of light. So maybe they go up into this different dimension, travel where they need to go, and then back down into ours. And so when they go back down into ours, no time has passed. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
So instead of that analogy where you fold the piece of paper, it's like that. But what if that paper, there's two pieces of paper, there's not just one. So they're like, all right, you want to get from point A to point B in this physical plane. All right, well, instead of folding the paper, that's impossible. Why don't we just shift up to a new piece of paper that exists already, travel there because the laws permit us to travel from point A to point B. We can travel faster than the speed of light because the laws allow us to, and then pop back down into the lower frequency universe.
If you were able to do that, if you were able to do that, wouldn't you technically just be a fourth dimensional being at that point?
For a time, until you got back down into the third dimension.
So, because they talk about it, how like in higher dimensions, like time is different. It's not like linear. It's more like going up or down a mountain. You just kind of select how high or down the mountain you want to be.
How high?
And that's
hell
yeah. Your fourth dimensional perspective from it. So like time isn't really a thing. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, in order to even have the option to come down into a third dimension or up into a higher dimension, we couldn't even do it here as a third dimensional thing.
Yeah.
Because you physically couldn't. Right? You just can't. You can't do it unless you find that next dimension. You can't.
Or that next dimension finds you and teaches you how to do it.
Possibly.
You know what I'm saying?
But nobody's doing it. As many people have been contacted, and you know this too, I ain't never heard anybody said, yo, I shifted dimensions. they've been like, yeah, I've been picked up. I've seen the fucking moon. I've seen the stars. I've been taken places. I've seen like these crazy, people around me and like these white lights, and I've been on medical beds and everything. But I don't think I've ever heard anybody be like, yo, we shifted dimensions, dog.
Dimensions.
I
got hungries.
And so if these people if these things are doing it, whatever it is that's doing it, like, I don't know, like that the dimensional shift, like, is it, and I guess I'm back to my original question, like, are these dimensional shifts happening within our universe? Does our universe hold these dimensional slates? Obviously, yes, it does, because we know that they exist. So it's within our universe. But when you go into that, if time doesn't make if time doesn't matter in a higher dimension, then what is all this space and room for them? It doesn't need, you don't need a universe if you're in a fourth or higher dimension, because there's no need for space or time. It doesn't exist. If you can just walk up and down a mountain, so it's just like we have this ever expanding universe of space and time that we don't even need, because these other things don't even use it. They're not traveling through it. You know what I'm saying?
Because they don't have any real estate agents. They're not trying to buy and sell land.
Definitely not.
The space isn't there. There's not enough space. They don't need the space.
Or they just create their next move in reality, as opposed to, having space in front of you, time in front of you, right?
Yeah.
They don't need it. Think, okay, this, and the reality sets in for them wherever they are at that time.
Ooh, I like that. That's cool. Does that go into like manifestation of reality though? Does it go into like, that reality doesn't exist unless it's being observed? But maybe you're talking like a higher dimensional being would be on a way larger scale. Whereas like we look around, we're like, oh, this table didn't exist unless I'm looking at it, because it's like not loaded. I guess that goes hand in hand with the simulation theory. But like if you go to like a level above,
right?
Maybe universes don't exist until it's being observed. So maybe the dimensions can be accessed by our dimension, but we have to be actively being observed by a higher.
And maybe it has to be interacting in order to. Yeah. That's an interesting thought.
So I can't, unless I'm being contacted, I can't just decide, hey, I'm going to like travel dimensions. I have to be.
How unprofessional, dude.
Wait, no, we'll let it ring out.
Well, I don't know. I already silenced it. I can't make it re-silence, or redo the thing, but I'll call you back. Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about like just everything being created in the universe, and like entities that would be outside of space and time. And then I got into like dimensions, and I'm like, well, if dimensions are a thing, there's still something on the outside, because dimensions didn't just happen.
Or did they?
Did they? Where did they come from? Did it not start with just one? You know what I'm saying? Like, who made all these dimensions? Where are they coming from? What are they doing?
What are they doing?
Like, dude? Why? Why is it like the idea of like the universe itself is so incomprehensible, dude? Like, our brains can't even, like, if you try to think of like where like Pluto is, bro, like you can think of like Pluto, and then you can think of black space around it, and you can think of maybe like the rocks and stuff on the planet. But in reality, you don't even really know what Pluto looks like, dog. We really don't know.
Aren't they all like,
it looks like a potato, I think, is what they said. It looks like a potato. So I always imagine like a potato in some space. But then when I think about the distance of just being there, I can't comprehend the distance. And then to think that like, we're like a million times further away from that to like the very next star. And I'm like, geez, dude, well, we need to get this dimension thing in the works. But then it's like, well, where the hell did that dimension come from? You know, like, is it layering? Like, is there only one universe? Kind of like going back to what you were saying. Is there only one universe? Do we perceive there to be a multiverse because that same exact universe exists in these different dimensions? Are there like infinite amounts of dimensions, right? Mm. So there's only one universe, but infinite amount of dimensions, which gives you the multiverse theory because you can access these different dimensions. But even then, we talk about the infinity, and this goes back to one of our older podcasts, how I was talking about the infinity. Doesn't it have to technically exist within something to even be infinity?
Yeah, because it has to exist or not exist. So because it exists, it's
confined within something.
Yeah.
There's something confining what infinity is.
Whatever it is, I think is the shape of a torus, a donut.
Maybe.
I think because isn't like infinity is just a 2-dimensional representation of
like the figure eight,
like the donut. You know, I think whatever it is the shape of a donut.
It might
it's got some sprinkles on there.
It might be. You know, maybe like the closer in, the more dense the dimensions become, or something, and they get real dense in the middle, and then they start to be lighter and flowier dimensions on the outside, and then it does it all over again. But even then, like if it was to do that, like, are these dimensions moving? Are they constantly, like, is the fifth dimension, like,
it's like phases?
Well, time doesn't even exist, so how would you track
because if time doesn't exist, that means it's just like the proton, or it exists in all places all at once.
Places at one time.
Did I say that right?
Quantum entanglement?
Yeah. But is it the proton, or am I thinking of it wrong?
I don't know.
Right, saying the right thing.
Higgs boson?
No, that's
what particle did they use though? It's
I think it was an electron.
Was it an electron?
Maybe it was I don't know, dude. I don't know.
One of them is like.
All I know is that we use a Peloton.
Do you really?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But yeah.
What if, you know how like in the Peloton they have like courses and they like speak to you through the little screen? What if like that's how you got contacted by an alien? Or like you're just jogging doing a course and then all of a sudden it's like the screen gets taken over, like Joe.
I would not be happy.
I
would not be happy.
Squanchamulus.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Your RPMs are not high enough to lose any significant amount of weight.
These beings, if they're interdimensional and they're interacting with you, man, I don't know. I just don't
Do you want to mess with it?
I don't know. I feel like it's and this is just a brain block for me, is like, I think I'm stuck in the fact that it's a physical place.
I think a lot of people are.
You know?
Because we don't fully understand anything other than what we see, feel, touch, hear.
Like if you're taken, are you taken to a physical place? It would seem so by the interactions, by the experiencer's accounts. You know, I touched this, I saw this, I could make out the things in the room, like the floor was smushy, or like, you know, like it seems like they're interacting with something very physical.
But couldn't you put those images in someone's mind without actually physically receiving the reflection of light? Like, does it have to be physically light coming in, or could it be images put into someone's head?
I would say that, yeah, they could probably put the images in the head.
Yeah, or you're sensing it through your third eye. If you're like astrally projecting, you know, if you're like abducted, not physically, but your mental consciousness taken to a different dimension, as you're saying, it wouldn't be physically, it would be spiritually. Mm-hmm. And so like, maybe we just don't fully understand, like, yeah, you can sense all kinds of stuff. When we say see, our version of see is way less cool than actually seeing spiritually.
Right.
Where there's like senses we can't even describe on this physical plane.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's interesting. Dude. It's been in my brain lately on just like everything is not physical. I think I understand that. I know that it's not, but I think the picture in my mind is like, seems like a physical place. Like you could be being abducted and just stay in your bed.
Yeah,
technically,
just chilling.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's proof that people can be abducted into different planes of existence because you can see it in your head. The idea itself exists.
Well, we talk about that in the documentary,
You know
right?
what I'm saying?
Like, some people may be abducted physically, some may be abducted astrally.
Yeah.
That's what she says in there, and it's like, yeah, that's an interesting take where everything feels super, super real to you, but it's more in like an astral plane.
Yeah.
But if you're in the astral plane and you're not being taken physically, what's being taken?
Ooh.
Your mind? That doesn't make sense for them to take your mind.
Yeah, it's like saying consciousness has like memories and stuff. Because by the time you get back into your physical body, if you remember it, that knowledge isn't stored in your neurons. It's stored in your soul.
Yeah.
So that's saying the soul has some type of. There's a way to access memories from just your spiritual self.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool to think about.
And yeah, and like if that's the case, like if you're moving your soul, like I don't think it belongs to you. Or it belongs to you. It belongs to you till the end, right? It's kind of out on loan to you.
Yeah.
Till the end.
It's like going to mini golf where they have like the go-karts.
Yeah.
Where you're like, I paid for a wristband. Cool. Yeah, that was, expensive. But I get all these things. I get mini golf, I get the race cars, and I get the little boat that squirts guns, water. And then you go to the little race cars, the go-karts, but you only get like 10 minutes, if that.
Right.
And you're like, damn, that was really fun and dangerous, but dang, all right.
Like it's or even like
great analogy.
renting the golf clubs at the mini.
Yeah.
Like, it's yours
For a little bit.
until the end, and then you got to give it back. So you got to make sure you do the most with this.
Got to get on those race cars. You got to get on those floaty boats with the squirties.
Because at the end, you got to give it back.
Yeah.
But like, even if that's the case and you have to give it back to something, if something else were to interact with you, it's not even theirs. It's not theirs to touch. It's not, So
I'm using it right now. It's not your turn. Get out of here.
yeah.
Talking about like if an extraterrestrial, interdimensional, were trying to mess with you or take over your soul or something evil or something like that, or just being nice. It's like, hey, I'm in control of this vessel right now. Ooh, that was weird to say. The vessel. That was like Bob Lazar said. Like, they were like, we were vessels.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think that's probably more true than I think we realize.
It's weird.
It's
really
dude.
weird.
It makes me feel weird.
So
This body's on rent.
We weren't going to go into it, but I'm going to go into it a little bit just because it kind of has something to do with this. But I was watching Weaponized yesterday, and
Jeremy Corbell.
yeah, and he I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he had a whistleblower that came in and he was talking about the things that he had run across while he was in that position. But one of the things that he said that kind of like snapped me into reality was like, like this UFO topic. It's like, it's a thing. Like it's its own world. It's its own bubble, like within, the intelligence agency. Like it's its own world. And he was like, but it gets even crazier because it's not the only world that exists within the agency. There's so many other like little pockets. It's just their own little world that like nobody knows about. He's like, it's just weird that like, well, not weird, but like almost like, well, we're kind of lucky that like this UFO thing came out. Otherwise you would never know about it. And he alluded to the fact that there's so many other things that are happening that you have absolutely no clue about. And then he also said something that was pretty interesting about the fact that within the UFO space and like kind of what's happening, he wasn't very specific, obviously, but he did say, he was like, I think there's enough time left for us to be able to like turn it around.
Ooh, like a timeline kind of thing?
Like a timeline thing.
Wow.
So like if there's something set on a direction and these people on the inside are saying, look, there's time to turn the other way and go back, which is basically what he's saying is like, yeah, whoever's in charge right now is running this ship directly into an iceberg.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
That's terrifying.
we have time to turn it around. Now, this is where, like in the last episode, like it's like I get irritated because it's like,
show us the aliens.
turn around from what? What are we turning around from?
Yeah.
You can't say. Look, if you know you're gonna die, just say it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're about to die, just say it. I know.
I don't know if they can though, dude. Have you ever seen the movie Melancholia?
Nah, it sounds too melancholy for me.
It was very melancholy,
Yeah,
but
no,
it's
not my
basically the synopsis of the movie is it's a late start in the movie. So everybody just you jump into the movie and you realize there's a comet that's headed straight towards Earth, and it's like there in 8 hours, and everybody's like enjoying their last 8 hours on Earth. And it's if you haven't seen the movie, it's pretty dope.
I'll check it out.
It's got Kirsten Dunst in there.
I'll check it out.
Oh.
But I think it's just like
It's like
it's one of those things where like if you're gonna say we have time to turn this around, then you need to tell us what it is we need to turn around from.
I think certain people.
How can anybody turn anything around if nobody knows what we're turning around from?
I think certain people need to know. I don't think everybody needs to know. That's just my take. Because I think certain people that don't want it, I think you should have a choice. Do you want to know or do you actually want to know? Because people, maybe you get to vote. Like
You won't. That's the issue. Like, yeah, do you want to
well,
know?
then,
Do you
then
not
you're
wanna know?
forcing
That's
it on
great.
people to be like, if they can't handle it.
But you're
now
also-
now I'm like flipping.
Because now you're forcing it on people who want to know.
Well, if you do want to know, you should be able to choose. But you have to take a test and like pass the test. If you're like mentally stable enough to like accept the truth.
Yeah, but
That'd be kind of cool.
all the people who decide to take the test and realize that they're mentally stable enough to know, bro, we're just gonna tell everybody anyway. It doesn't matter, like whether you tell me or you tell the entire population.
Well, that's part of the test. Are you gonna tell people?
It would be pointless for me not to tell people. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Is like
We're
if,
humans,
if
man.
I'm gonna say, hey, we got time to turn this ship around, and
Yeah.
people are like, what are we turning around from? And I'm like, oh, I can't really tell you. But if I'm gonna die because I tell you, but then I'm also gonna die if I don't tell you.
Yeah.
What does it matter?
That's why people.
But what if it's a don't think about the white bear moment?
Well, I don't go
The
to
white
work.
bear moment.
If I look at you and I say don't think about a white bear,
Okay.
are you thinking about a white bear right
No,
now?
I'm thinking about a grizzly.
I pictured a polar bear
Exactly.
drinking an ice cold Coca-Cola.
You told me not.
By
to
the way,
think
this
about it.
episode is brought to you by.
A white bear.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
So if the world, I mean, if we're all gonna die, if we're all gonna die by not redirecting the ship, then that's it. We're all just gonna die. But if we have time to turn this thing around, I need to know what I'm turning around from in order to make the correct decisions to make sure that I'm not heading down that road. But if nobody knows what the road is or what we're talking about, we're all gonna die anyways. So it's like you die either way. So you either have to tell us so we can turn this around and not die, or you don't tell us and we all just die anyways. It's the position, like the conundrum that regular people are in.
Is it in your opinion unfair that some people actually might know the truth and are not telling us? Does it piss you off that you don't have that choice?
I don't know. I've always been I've always been one of those people that's like, that's not my business.
Yeah.
But I think this is much bigger than that. You know, I think if there's nothing we can do about it, keep it a secret. If there's absolutely nothing that we can do about it, keep it a secret. I don't want to know. I just want the comet to hit us and let that be that.
Yeah.
If there is something we can do about it, bro, I gotta know.
There you go.
I have to know.
I think that's what hits for me is like, all right, can we do something about it collectively, individually?
Right.
Fucking tell us.
Tell us. We gotta know.
Yeah.
Even if we can't handle like what's coming, we know the preparations to make to increase the chances of survival for humans in general, right? Because we all think about this idea of like some catastrophe could happen. Well, what do you immediately think about? Like we're immediately thinking about what can I do and how can I protect my family, which is all fine and good. But at some point we have to also think, okay, I'm not going to make it. How can I help preserve the species going forward, though?
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of like the going to Mars, right? It's like they could very easily just die there, but like, why are they doing it? Well, we can go down the conspiracy road, but the ultimate answer is like, well, we're looking for a spot to preserve humanity going forward if we needed to, right? This is just an exercise to preserve humanity going forward. Now, it may be a class thing, a pure luxury thing of like
Katy Perry.
Only Katy Perry and those fucking people will know about it, and they can just go live on their planet, and they're gonna, you know, extend the human race. That's fine.
Dude, it's gonna be Elon Musk and Katy Perry just banging on Mars for 40 years.
No.
That's Adam and Eve all over again, dude. It's gonna be sick. I'd watch that show,
dude. I don't know, man. But you know, he was saying that, and it just really got me thinking, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing now?
A number of people have mentioned, you know, that timeline, that 2027, that year keeps coming up. John Ramirez said on a number of shows, including UFO podcast, that 2027 was the year. I've got my notes here. Lou Elizondo has alluded, saying in 2023 that it was on a 5-year timeline. So 4 or 5 year timeline. So it's in between 2027, 2028. Also, Chris Bledsoe. Everything. I mean, we always come back to Chris Bledsoe on certain stuff, but he also says 2027.
2027. Yeah,
so, dude, we're entering our like almost last year of being able to do anything about it. I wonder if the question is, yeah, we could do something about it, but like the resources and being able to band together, like there's just, the hope has been lost. I would hope that the hope could persevere, but what if it's a challenge so big that even if everybody knew and we put all of our effort into it, we quit our jobs, we all worked on this one thing to prevent something from happening or something. Well, hopefully it's not a comet. I'm like picturing a comet. Like, okay, what are you going to do about a comet coming?
I'm worried about that. Like,
an asteroid.
If we all had that time, it's like, okay, are we gonna focus on this, or is like 50 to 60% of the population gonna talk about, you know, gender pay wage gaps and shit? Like, you know, where are we going? Like, are we gonna spend our time saving the species, or are we gonna spend our time trying to be communists? Like, what are we gonna do here? Like, it's something that we can all agree on, but when we get the world together and like, okay, we can all agree on this, there's gonna be so many like fractures within that. Or like, well, I think this is important, and how come women can't sit at the front of the rocket ship? And like we're trying to save the species. Shut up.
Yeah.
Take your seat. Put your seatbelt on. We gotta fucking go.
I think that's like
maybe we just leave those people here, or what?
I think it's yeah, we just leave them here.
Which is the same exact conversation that the elites are having.
Yeah,
right now, right? That we were just shitting on the elites. Like, they're just gonna leave us all here.
They're like, we've slowly been giving them the information. It's right in front of them, but they choose to watch cat videos and scroll on TikTok. We can't help it. That's what they want.
It's all our fault.
But okay, last thing I'll say about that is like this. If this is true, if this is all coming together in the next year and a half, with all the fracturing and like decision making and like who's what, it is like almost the perfect time for some type of revelation of some kind, you know, like biblical proportions.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean like the Messiah is coming back, or it could mean aliens are coming back. I mean, it just seems like that's the pattern.
You want to hear something interesting? You know, obviously, like, Jerusalem is going to build their final temple. Like when he comes back, you know, in Revelation, they talk about they're going to build the temple.
Yeah.
And you know, there's red heifers that are going to be sacrificed,
like from Rocco Minor Line.
The Antichrist is going to show up. So there has actually been people from from Jerusalem, or, you know, in that area, from
the Middle East,
from Israel, that have come to Texas, and there's a man in Texas who is actually supplying the red heifers right now.
I've heard about
like
that.
from here.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Like breeding those
the
specific
types of
heifers.
heifers for them to take back, and they've come and they've seen them, and they think they're gonna work just swimmingly. Huh? So that's kind of weird that you had brought that up, because like, well, shoot, if Israel's building a temple right now and this dude's got heifers growing, and like there's been all this weird like antichrist stuff going on lately.
Have
like,
you seen that video of the dude claiming he's not the Antichrist, but like
he's an idiot.
But I don't like that guy.
He's an idiot.
There's something about that dude that I just don't trust.
He's very confident in what he's saying, but
Can we pull that video?
Yeah, but you can kind of go through and like, you're like, man, you're cherry picking verses and things that don't go together, and you're saying things that aren't like it doesn't make any sense what he's saying. It just, yeah, this guy.
They talk about the Antichrist. What is the Antichrist?
He's just like some guy from Portland.
He's got a beanie, dude. Yeah,
Where is the Antichrist?
The full shop's at Hot
These are the
Topic.
questions people have asked for centuries. In fact, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu
That's Karl Marx right there. Why the
wasallam
fuck
said,
would you have a
bust
"Allah did
a bust
not
of
send
Karl
any
Marx?
prophet, but that he warned his nation of the one-eyed Dajjal. He is one-eyed, while your Lord is not one-eyed. The word kafir is written between his two eyes. If this is true, and every prophet ever sent to a nation warned their people about the Antichrist, then this is a topic of the utmost importance. They talk about
I don't know.
That dude just looks like he's looking for 40 wives.
Dude, yeah, that's it, dude. That's it. That's what he's doing.
That's what he looks like.
He's there looking for 40 wives. He's going to start like this weird cult. And that's scary, bro, because that room, there was a lot of people in that room.
Where do you even like hold a press conference like that?
Who knows?
With a bust of Karl Marx and all those people. Like, how do you do what's the marketing for that? Or did he just show up to someone else's event and like, hey, I got this?
I mean, if you think about the times today, showing up in a place with Karl Marx in it, you'd probably draw a pretty big crowd. Just lots of college students, probably.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I wouldn't really take. I don't take that guy serious at all. Not one bit. He's a very what is the word?
He's a lead guitarist who knows about 4 songs really well. Like he plays a BC Rich and a PV. He has like 4 more rings than he should have on his.
Yeah. And too many pedals.
Beaded bracelets, like 4 of them. They come in 4s.
Yeah.
4 rings, 4 bracelets.
Yeah, I don't take that guy serious. But like, it's such a weird time for us in the world that people like that are starting to pop up. You know what I'm saying? It's very weird. It's really weird, man. But I don't know.
It seems. I think culturally, the zeitgeist it's leaning towards that. It's like I think everybody can feel the bubblies.
It's also one of those things where like, okay, like is somebody manufacturing this too?
Could be.
Like it's obviously like if you were to get into biblical scripture, you could read it and be like, how could we manufacture this to make people think that it's going to happen?
Yeah.
To really take control of things and like, hey, this would be easier if we were just like a one world government and like,
Well, it's unification. When there's so much divide and the most powerful people want to stay in power, they might not necessarily want what's best for the whole individuals, but they want what's best for the power structure itself.
Right.
They will do anything for any cost to continue and feed into that power structure.
Oh, dude. So he was also talking about in Weaponize. So that guy, he had said that you get to a point to where you realize that it's not even like it's not even like the government or like the CIA or so you know how like we would take these things and
The Clown Intelligence Agency.
So you know how like we would make these references and be like, yeah, so the government, right? They would contract out Lockheed or Northrop Grumman and they would do the work for them.
Yeah.
And then it's like, plausible deniability.
Yeah.
Well, it goes even crazier because instead of the government contracting these people out, now you have these like people who actually run the world and they contract out the government.
Oh,
So our government are doing things not for us, but for people who basically still run everything. So when you go back to like before like World War I and like when they were still like kings and queens and they had kingdoms and just an ungodly amount of just like gold and riches and stuff like that, right?
yeah.
Well, okay, the times are changing. We no longer want a king. We no longer need a queen. We don't need any of this stuff. We want to be an elected government type system now. Okay,
Yeah.
so that shifts in and we start electing who's going to run this place, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what happened to the king? What happened to all that gold? What happened to all the wealth that
Where
he
did
had?
it go?
Where did he go? Where did his wealth go? Where, like, they didn't just disappear.
Yeah.
No, they were like, what a great idea. I can totally just step back and not
Not
run
run
this
this
shit.
shit. Yeah.
But I can influence the way that the kingdom runs because I have all of the wealth. What are they going to do? It's not hurting me at all. All I've done is set up a power structure now to where I don't have to do anything. I just collect, baby. You know?
Mhm.
So like those people that used to be kings and queens and like ran the world, bro, they didn't go anywhere. They still run the world, and the governments now are their pawns,
Yeah.
their playing tools. And while we all sit down here and we vote back and forth and like, I want a woman, orange man bad, or like whatever it is, we want to complain about some stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Like they're up there like, yeah, none of that even matters, dude.
Yeah.
Like we're just
I mean,
like,
as we're like Doge is finding out trillions of waste and fraud.
Yeah.
That's a drop in the ocean
They're just
compared
like,
to the.
it doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
because instead of we're looking at this, like I said, we're looking at this from like, dude, the government is contracting out, Boeing to do these UFOs, but like on a bigger scale, man, it's like these like the people running the world are contracting out governments to do their bidding, and we have to listen to that. We have to listen. They have to listen to that.
Yeah.
That's why like the normal people. That's why we're the government's problem. So we're not their problem.
Mm-hmm.
They install these governments to handle us basically, while they run everything at the top.
Well, if I've learned anything from this episode, it's I want to raise some red calves.
No, you don't,
Oh, is that bad? Okay, never mind. I take it back.
because now you're ushering in the end of everything.
Well, I don't want the end of
I guess,
everything. Is it, or is it a new beginning? Is it a new page?
The new kingdom is ahead. So I mean, if you lived a good life and you're ready to go, like sure, let's do it.
No, I'm having fun. I'm
we'll have to
partying,
go
dude.
through the Antichrist, but I will tell you right now, I think I need a little bit more time to make up for being a piece of shit most of my life. So I'm not ready for it to come just yet. I hope one day I am. I'm not scared to go or anything. I think it'll be beautiful, but I just want to put in a little more work before I get there.
I want to open up some more doors for ladies, old ladies. I want to help some more ladies across the street.
Yeah, dude. So I'm not technically ready for it to come, but I think it's going to be a wild time, man. And they say that when the Antichrist comes, it's going to be a really tricky situation. It's going to be a very it's going to test your faith to the, it's going to stretch it to its max. Like you're really, really going to be tested. And it's one of those things like, wow, like if these things come, like, that's what I was asking. Like, what are the theological implications? How can we use this? Like, how can we, I don't know. How can we help ourselves is the big question.
Yeah.
But like, it's hard to want to help yourself, but not have any direction of like how to help yourself when it's all a secret. It's so tough.
Would helping yourself look like deciding what you believe rather than
I think so. I think that's
holding
that's
off
part of it.
and data gathering and like, I really don't know yet. It's like deciding, okay, what the hell do I believe in?
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
'cause when you don't know what you believe in, the whole world becomes a very plausible answer. And then you come to find out that, wow, 95% of this is total bullshit. Where do I go? You know, so when you can find a lane and stick to it, now you have your view of the world around you, and everything else you can fit inside that you know, inside the way that you view the world, as opposed to just not knowing, constantly guessing. I'm not sure. I'm not, you know,
It sucks for those that are just starting their journey and like trying to figure this out.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Because like, imagine if you know, 6 years ago, where you're like, I don't know. Even, I mean, me like 2 years ago, I was like, everything's true and false. I'm starting to believe specific things. I've got core beliefs. I'm still open to a lot of stuff, but like for those that are like, I don't know.
And all throughout time, dude, like you've seen like the deception, it's kind of run its course. And now through all this time, now we're starting to see like, oh, I see. That is wrong. That's completely wrong.
Yeah.
I believe that shit for years. Wow. Damn, that was really wrong. Well, let's start back over. Let's see where we can find some common ground, things that make sense. And yeah, dude, I mean, you know, we were talking about the biblical stuff. I mean, dude, it's full of stuff telling you, hey, be careful for everything that's literally going to happen to you, like going forward from here. Because everything it talks about literally has happened, or like is an issue, or is a way to relate to your every single day life. Like just even from small issues to like very large issues, including paranormal issues or just like marriage issues, anything it is. Like there's just like there's a way to you know, I guess what I'm saying is like, well, I don't really know what I'm saying, to be honest with you. I think the world is a complicated place.
Yeah, I think we're getting to a point where there's no rule book for what's about to happen.
Yeah, exactly. But I think if you have you're grounded in your belief and you're sound with it, I don't think you'll have a problem.
No.
But you should also keep an open mind
and chill,
but not too much.
Not too much.
Not too much. Because that can get you in trouble when you're just chilling.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So.
I did not know that this episode was going to go in that direction. That was so
either.
Fun, dude.
Yeah, me either.
How are we doing on time? I think we're about at that hour mark.
Where are we at?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look right at that hour mark, dog. Oh, snap. All right. Anything that we want to go over? I mean, we talked about frequency. We're talking about Psych Anonymous.
Yeah, not a lot, man. Just that Jeremy Corbell thing, that whistleblower guy. He had some really cool stuff to say that really got my brain thinking, like, whoa, like, because last week I had said we should start like redirecting on like what's floating around in the sky to like who's pulling the strings, and then this guy this week dropped this episode.
So awesome, dude.
You're like, whoa, that's what I was talking about, exactly right there. Which they've been doing that already, but it seems like now we're getting closer to like, oh shit, like he literally was talking about the constellation. You know what I'm saying? The immaculate constellation. Like, oh yeah, they just they were actually surveilling Russians out in the middle of the ocean, looking at a black triangle. And it's like, oh, shit.
Which we were talking about in the last episode, maybe some of the intel that we're getting is because they were in places they weren't supposed to be, and that's why we can't know about it.
Yeah.
He just confirmed that.
Yeah.
They were in Russia, man. We weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah, so it's like a funky thing. Well, I can't tell you because we were in Russia. Or I can't tell you because it was over U.S. airspace. Or I can't tell you because it was in my mom's house. And I don't want you to have her address. Man.
She didn't know that I was supposed to be. So she was out of town.
It's like no matter what happens, they can't tell you because it's a secret. It's goofy because it's like the biggest non-secret secret ever. It's like this thing that is not a secret at all.
Yeah.
Is like,
for some reason, it's still a secret.
Still a secret. You're like, God, this is so annoying.
What would make it not a secret is just somebody being like, hey, is it the president? Is it Who's got to say it?
It's almost like when your wife gets you a birthday present and she bought it like 3 weeks before it was your birthday. And like she showed you and was like, hey, do you like this? And you're like, yeah, I like that. And then she's like, okay, I'm going to wrap it. And you're like, well, why don't you just give it to me? She's like, because I wanted to give it to you.
Yeah.
And so for 3 weeks, you got to sit there knowing what's inside of that wrap box before you can even open it.
And then maybe she like gaslights you and she's like, no, I actually decided not to, get that thing. And you're like, wait, what?
I want to get another one, but I got to wait now because it's Amazon and it's not here yet. And it's like, you're just pushing the goalpost further and further. Like, can I just open? Do you even need to wrap it?
Dude, maybe it's all leading up to back to like the disclosure thing and like just this whole revelation. Maybe it's just a big surprise party. You ever thought about that?
I would be pissed.
I
would never show up to that party. I would go find whoever's in charge. And
Happy birthday!
Punch them in their face.
There's a lot of balloons. I mean, think about it, dude. Aliens, balloons in the sky, lights. Those are all things that birthdays have.
It's very true.
Maybe it's a surprise birthday party.
Floating birthday yachts. Yeah, that's what it is. What was it, the Sonoran Aero Group that was in charge of moving those big ships in the 1800s across? Yeah. Well, they were moving gold from the West Coast over to the East Coast. And they think that maybe that's why we saw, the influx of airships in the 1800s. Well, maybe if they were so ahead of the game, they were like, you know what, dude? We're not really moving gold anymore. We got to find something to do. So they started making party yachts.
Party yachts. Floating party yachts.
Floating party yachts.
And they're just moving birthday supplies from one continent to the other.
How pissed would you be if it came out and they were like, okay, it's been floating party yachts. How mad, dude? Man.
Sponsored by Party City.
I would burn every UFO Garage shirt I own. I'd go get a tattoo removal. I'd be so pissed.
I still gotta get my tattoo, by the way. But think about how much glitter is gonna be just popping out of nowhere for that surprise birthday party, man.
I hate glitter.
Dude, Maroon 5's gonna headline.
I hate Maroon 5.
Justin Timberlake's gonna open.
I hate
Not
Justin,
that he couldn't,
some stuff. Timberlake's pretty tight. It just sounds like a terrible time. I'll be honest with you. It sounds like a terrible time. You just
don't like surprise parties.
I don't.
All right.
I don't.
Well, that means that I've got to throw a surprise party. Just piss you off this year.
I don't like them.
I'll see you in October.
Like my wife, during Christmas time, she'll buy presents. She's like, and I'll be like, what? I'm like watching TV and she's like, I got you something. And I'm just like, okay, cool. She's like, you can't see it until Christmas. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's like, why don't you ever want to see your presents? And I'm like, I don't know. It's not like a surprise guy. You just, if you're going to tell me about it, just give it to me. Other than that, just be quiet. Wrap it and hide it somewhere. Like, I don't need to know about the present. And then she'll always, before Christmas, bro, like 2 or 3 days, hey, do you want to maybe open one present?
Dude,
like,
that's exactly how I do with Jess. When I get Jess presents, I'm like, babe, I got your present today. She's like, okay, surprise ruined. I'm like, do you want it right now?
Dude, yeah. She's like, how are you not wanting to open these things? Yeah. I'm just not, I've never been like I've never really received surprises. I guess that's why it's not a big deal to me.
Yeah. Well, surprise, 2027. It's a big surprise party.
We're all gonna die because nobody knows how.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying it's gonna be a really big celebration that everyone doesn't know about. And we're going to be super surprised. Everybody's going to pop up from behind the couch. Surprise!
I'd be so mad. I'd be so sick. I'd be so mad. All right.
Hell yeah, dude. This is a good episode, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, this has been another episode of UFO Garage. We'll see you guys next time.
See you at Contact in the Desert. Woo!
UFO Garage.
Comfortable. Durable, stylish, customizable extra room in the left or the right pant leg. It doesn't matter if you lean to the left or to the right. Just like the UAP topic, these jeans are non-partisan. You've been waiting for disclosure long enough. You've also been waiting for a pair of non-partisan jeans. The wait is over for both disclosure and these jeans.
And these jeans.